Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. Happy New Year. It's the first video going up on my channel of 2025. I know I'm late, I know I'm slacking. It's been a while since I've actually sat down and recorded. I've really missed it, but I just wanted to get sort of like my life in order a little bit before I started coming back to filming and things like that. My videos are going to be coming out in a bit of a back to front order because obviously I want to catch up on like my 2024 bests and like the books I'm looking forward to in 2025. But I first just wanted to go through sort of like the books that I read in January, just because I feel like that'd be a nice way to start, a nice way to sort of motivate myself to read a little bit more in the following months. And then following on from today's video, there'll be sort of like my best of 2024, the books that I'm really looking forward to reading in 2025, and also just some other bits and bobs. So I'm not going to mess around, I'm just going to get straight into the video. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media and Amazon and everything will be linked in the description bar below. Let's get into my January reads. So I didn't actually set a TBR for January. I had an idea of sort of what books I wanted to read in January, but I just kind of wanted to give myself the freedom to just pick up what I felt like reading. So the end of last year, I kind of didn't read very much at all after September. There was a lot going on, a lot of big changes in my life, so I didn't really feel like reading. So I only finished like 3 books from September to the end of the year. So January was really just about me getting back into reading and just picking up the things that I just felt like reading that month. But I thought I'd just try a bit of a book from every genre just to see if I could sort of reignite my love for reading, and it worked. So having that freedom to just pick up whatever I felt like once I'd finished the last book really helped. I did only read 4 books in January. So this month I read 1 fantasy book, 2 romance books and a thriller book. Like I said, I was just trying to sort of reignite my reading, so I just picked like random books from random genres. So let's get into the books that I read. So the first book that I read in January was actually a reread, and that was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Now, I read this book back in, I think it was June of last year, and honestly I loved it so much back then, but obviously with the new one coming out I wanted to be more up to date, and I've not actually read Iron Flame yet, so I wanted to reread this, read Iron Flame, ready for Onyx Storm. So this was the first book that I read this year. I'm sure you've all heard plenty about it by now, but it's like a fantasy romance based around sort of like dragon riders and is it an academy? I guess it's an academy, isn't it? Yeah, it's an academy, right? So this focuses on our main character Violet and sort of like her experience going to this college. It's an academy, I'm going to call it an academy. So there's basically all different quadrants, and Violet goes or is forced to go into the Riders quadrant, and she's very fragile and very breakable. So it's kind of like all her challenges that she faces and like the friendships that she makes, the relationships that she makes. It's a bit of a love triangle, but yeah, it's fantasy, dragons. I love it. It's such high stakes, there's so much going on, and I just really enjoy this book. If you've not read it yet, I do massively recommend it. Onyx Storm came out in January. I've already got my copies. My paperback's taller than my others, which is really annoying, but it's not the end of the world. It's fine. But yeah, I've got my copies of Onyx Storm already. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard all the hype, but honestly, jump on it. The hype is real. It's not overhyped at all. It's incredible. I love this story so much. I am currently reading Iron Flame, so me and my partner are actually buddy reading these because I've finally got him into reading. Bought him a Kindle for Christmas, got him picking up some books, I'm loving it. So we buddy read this. We're currently reading Iron Flame together at the moment to hopefully get on to Onyx Storm later in February. This was the first book that I read. It was a 5-star back in June, and it's still a 5-star now. I absolutely love this book so much and highly recommend it. 5-star. Now I've got to try and get it back behind my dragons. The next book that I read in January was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Now this was another book that was like sort of doing the rounds on TikTok all last year, and everyone was obsessed with it and absolutely loving it. And as always, I'm late to the hype. So I finally got around to reading this in January this year. Now this is a mystery thriller, but it's basically our main character Millie has recently got out of prison and is looking for a job, so she gets a cleaning job for the Winchesters. And there's just all these sort of like weird things going on in the house. So like the lady who sort of owns the house, Nina, is like really weird with her. She can be like super nice one day and then super snappy the next, and then she's like making all these things up that Millie's done. Or the little girl that lives there is also a bit like a mum in that way. Millie and the man of the house, what's his name? I forgot his name. Andrew. So Andrew is the man of the house, and like in Millie's eyes he's sort of like really hard done to. Their marriage, like Nina and Andrew's marriage, is sort of like crumbling and falling apart, and they have a bit of a spark. And yeah, it's such an interesting book. I don't want to ruin anything for you because I know a lot of people really love this book, I didn't particularly love it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It was easy reading, it passed the time, but like I'm not rushing to pick up the next ones, if that makes sense. I do have the next two, so there's The Housemaid's Secret and The Housemaid is Watching, which is 2 and 3, but I just don't think they're for me. Like, I've read quite a few of Frida McFadden's books now, and some of them I love and some of them I'm just really not bothered about, and this is unfortunately one of the ones I just weren't that bothered about. So I rated this book 3 stars, so it's not like a bad rating. It's sort of just like, I read it, it's a book, I don't really have much feeling towards it. I don't remember a great deal, and I only read it like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So it didn't blow my mind, like I said, but it is still an enjoyable book. If you like mystery thrillers, you might love this one. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it. Maybe I just had really high expectations because of all the hype I'd seen on TikTok and things like that. But yeah, this one just wasn't for me, but 3-star read stuff. The third book I read in January was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Now, I have only read one other book by this author, and I loved that one. So I read Yours Truly, loved that. And then, yeah, like I said, this is the second one of hers that I've read, Just for the Summer. Now, I love this book. I really like Abby Jimenez's like writing style. I just love, like, her books are really easy to read, but they can cover quite hard and difficult topics. So like, there's a lot of talk on sort of PTSD and things like that in this book, and it's just touched on in such a delicate way, but also such a meaningful way, and I just think it's great. So this follows our main characters, Justin and Emma, and basically they both think that they've got this curse where, like, when they date somebody and break up, that person then goes and finds their true love in the person that they're with for the rest of their life. So like, they basically decide that if they just go on 3 dates, is it 3 dates? It's something like 3 dates and a kiss, they'll break up and then they'll both move on and find their true love. So they do their 3 dates and a kiss, and obviously during spending all that time together they sort of bond and create all this really lovely relationship, and I just think it's incredible. I absolutely love her books, like I said. I just enjoy them so much. I think they're such an easy read, but like I said, cover some quite like intense topics, and I love her writing style so much. So I rated this one 4.5 stars. I'm pretty sure Yours Truly I rated 5. But yeah, this one I rated 4.5 stars. I did really enjoy it. Like I said, they do cover some quite difficult topics. Like, Justin has a lot going on. He's just recently had to take custody of all his siblings, and Emma's got a lot going on with sort of like her mom and their relationship. So just watching them sort of like navigate those difficult times together is just incredible. Like I said, I love these books. I highly recommend them. I have since found out there's 3 books in this series, and I think it's the Part of Your World series. So there's the first one, and then there's Yours Truly, and then there's this one. So I've read these 2 in the right order, but I've not read the first one in the series. And I don't think it particularly matters. Like, we do see the characters from book 2 in this one very briefly. I think they're just sort of interconnected, but there's not really, it doesn't matter if you read them out of order. So I don't think it particularly matters, but I definitely need to go back and read book 1 now that I've read book 2 and 3 already. So yeah, that's definitely going to be on my TBR at some point in the next few months. But yeah, Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer, 4.5 star read for me. Now, the last book that I read in January was actually an ARC, and it was All I Ever Needed by Emily Catlow. This book's about Luke and Ava, and Luke we do meet very briefly in, it's up here, I don't think you can see it, but this one here, Come Back to Me, which is the second book in the Rippers MC series by Emily Catlow. So Luke's just recently got out of prison and is sort of like trying to navigate the world when he bumps into this girl called Eva who's working at the pub that he's supposed to be meeting his brother at. So it is a romance book, so it's like a soulmates, it's always been you, there's all these dark secrets, and sort of like Luke's living this life that he doesn't really want Eva involved in, so he's trying to finish that up so that they can finally be together and be happy. And it's honestly just such an incredible story. It does have a lot of spice in this book, but it's really, really good spice, and it's incredible. I loved this book so much, like so much. Emily Catlow is definitely an author by author for me. She's only written 4 books so far, and I think I've given every single one of them 5 stars so far. Like, I'm just obsessed with her writing. Her writing's so easy to read and so easy to get lost in, and this one was no different. I absolutely loved this book so much, and it is a 5-star read for me. So it is technically my first 5-star read of the year, because yes, I've given Fourth Wing 5-star again, but it is a reread. So I'm going to class this one as my first actual 5-star of the year. But I absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend it. At the time of filming this video, it is actually out now, so definitely go and get your hands on it. It is incredible. Like I said, there's a lot of dark secrets, lots of twists and turns, and oh, it's just so good. It was so good. I only finished it like a week ago, and I'm still just obsessing over it. So they're the 4 books that I read in January. Like I said, it's been sort of like a bit of a mishmash read this month because I just didn't know what sort of vibes I wanted. I was just picking them up as I went, obviously, other than the ARC that needed to be read this month. 4 books, overall a really good reading month. Like, like I said, The Housemaid wasn't really my favourite, but I still enjoyed the read. It was easy enough to get on with. That's everything for today's video. If you can see anything that you think I should read come February, March time, then definitely let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I hope to see you in the next one. I hope you're well.